So hello folks, welcome back to announcements. I've just finished marking the topic proposal assignments. I don't think I've done the discussion board yet, but I wanted to talk a little bit about that, and I wanted to talk to you a little bit about what you're really up to, because I think some of you are a little confused. So in English 101, you did an informative research paper about some topic that interests you. In English 102, you're writing a persuasive research paper, which is different. And that means that you're using research, but you're using it to make an argument about some kind of an issue. It's not just, reporting findings that could have been made through original research, like does this drug work better than this one or something like that. It's also not establishing whether or not something is true or not, whether or not something exists, those kinds of things. And with some things like I'm trying to think of one right now. The flat earth thing. If you want to argue that the earth is not flat, that's not going to get you 4 to 6 pages. And, some things that might technically be allowed, like maybe you could make not an academic, but an argument, for a paper for school. It's kind of ridiculous because the earth is not flat. I hope I'm not bursting any bubbles there, but whatever. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about rhetoric and what it is, because I think when you see what you're supposed to be using, which may or may not come in, as I said, I'm doing this class with you, so I haven't got that far ahead yet, but I think this is, looking at what I saw, it seems like this would be a really good time to talk about it. So let me get in here and share something with you right now. Okay, so rhetoric is, Aristotle is the person we think of when we talk about rhetoric, because he's the one that spent tons and tons of time cataloging every single weird thing that he could about communication, because it mattered in Athens. If you wanted to be able to, solve problems in a democratic kind of society, you needed to be able to make persuasive cases and arguments so that people could figure out what to do, to figure out how they were going to solve their problems. So he defines rhetoric as the faculty of discovering in any particular case all of the available means of persuasion. So that's rhetoric. And that's when you're reasoning about probable truth. Like maybe there are different things that, different paths you could take. He also published a work on logic, which is his sort of way to reason about actual truth, like things about science and math and, whether or not things follow logically. You use logic in rhetoric, but it's not the only thing you use. So a couple of things that he did, he classified different kinds of arguments. I'm going to share that with you because there's really only one kind of argument you need to be making for this kind of an assignment. And we'll also talk about some of the strategies that he used to try to persuade an audience. So argument classifications, we've got forensic, which really is focusing on the past. If you think about court cases, did somebody commit that murder or not? And the two sides will get together and present evidence. And the theory is that whatever is the most compelling evidence is what, happens and justice is done. Reality is a lot more messy than that, but generally forensic stuff. And that's kind of what I see a lot of you doing. Like, is something helpful or not? Or is it useful or not? Or is it good or not? So there's that. And then deliberative is about the future. What should we do about a problem? So things like policy proposals, or really the assignment that you're doing right now. Epideictic rhetoric is kind of a weird one. It's kind of what is good or praiseworthy. What does our society think is good? Eulogies at like a funeral or something when someone passes away, don't speak ill of the dead. A lot of times those are that kind of thing where they're remembering someone and maybe kind of holding them up as an example of the kind of person that everyone should be. A lot of ceremonial speeches, inaugurations, State of the Union just happened. I think I would also classify some ethical debates that are hinging on kind of values and beliefs, but that's just my particular way of looking at it. Some useful terms. Exigence is my favorite word. I'll tell you what it is in a second. You probably know the other three: logos, ethos, pathos. You probably have studied at some point in the past. So this will hopefully be just a refresher. So an exigence, again, my favorite word, is a problem or a situation that an argument is designed to address or to change. And so you need to think about, as you're looking at your topic, what's the exigence here other than I have to write a paper for this stupid English class. So another definition I really like is by Cheryl Glenn, and she says, exigence is a problem that can be resolved or changed by discourse or language. All successful rhetoric, whether verbal or visual, is an authentic response to an exigence, a real reason to send a message. So I am praying, since I'm going to be reading a lot of these, that you take that to heart and you have really clear in your mind what is your authentic response to whatever the problem is that you've researched and what you're going to be sharing with me. So logos, is arguments that are based on logic, appeals to reason. And it's not just facts and statistics and data. It also can be, evidence, reasons, examples, logical relationships, showing cause and effect, showing that something is like something else with an analogy, contrasts, those kinds of things. I will say to you as you're doing research that you're really not just reading articles to grab facts and statistics to back up your argument. You're doing a lot more than that, because you also are going to be answering, opposing views. And so you really need to understand who's making the arguments, what kinds of arguments are being made, and be able to summarize them a little bit and then answer them or use them as part of a bigger case that you're making. So ethos, arguments that are or appeals that are based on character. And so that's things like really the character of whoever the speaker is. In your case, you. Are you trustworthy? Are you pulling? Are you like doing logical fallacies, or are you presenting things honestly? That's trustworthiness. Authority. Do you either know what you're talking about, or have you gone to people who do know what they're talking about and consulted them as part of your argument? Motives. You probably will not get the most unbiased information from the National Rifle Association about gun safety. And that's true also on the other side. Some of the gun control kinds of organizations out there, you have to look at the motives of the different sources that you're looking at and use that to help you kind of understand how useful or how trustworthy it is, so that it can build your ethos as a writer. Pathos, of course, appeal to emotions. Its original meaning was just pity, but other emotions, if you can think about it, can also motivate an audience. You can have negative emotions like anger, disgust, and shame, positive ones like love and pride and belonging. And all of that kind of emotional stuff it's something that's useful. You should have it definitely in your paper. You should have a mix. If you want to have good ethos, you should have kind of a mix of all of these different appeals. So some final thoughts for you. I'm going to link you to the book that I'm using for my face-to-face class, which is another open educational resource book. It's called Write What Matters. And it's got some ways to structure an argument. I'm not going to get into that right now. You can read about it. But I will tell you that the classical argument is what you've been doing forever. Your basic 5-paragraph essay with your 3 reasons why. The only thing you're really adding to that structure is counter arguments, like answering opposing viewpoints at some point during the paper. Toolman is kind of a classical argument on steroids. It's it was more a way of analyzing arguments and looking at things like claims, and then what's behind the claim. What are the sort of assumptions that someone is making? And you can get a lot out of that. It may be a little bit more than you want to do in a English 102 class. Rogerian argument, though, it's hard to write those, but I think that this is a really good book to show you kind of how to do it. If you want to, instead of doing the thing that you've always done, look at a problem and you find common ground. You look at a problem and you maybe take some of your opponent's viewpoints and add them to yours and create a kind of win-win situation. So it's not, where classical argument really is more about, a battle or, kind of like a court case. Those are not for the faint of heart. The other thing that I'd like you to do as you're looking at your sources is just see what kinds of arguments they're making, because you're going to need to answer them in some way. So take some notes on that. Have that be some of your sources. 4 sources is, I guess, okay for a really, really short research paper. This used to be a 10 to 12 page paper, so it's gotten cut down a lot in the intervening years since I started at Gateway. But anyway, so hopefully that's a little bit helpful for you. Let me get out of this now. And what else do I need to say to you? So I'll make sure that that source from that chapter from Write What Matters, I'll make sure that it's in your course for you. Coming up is an annotated bibliography, one of my favorite things to do as a researcher. You can waste so much time finding all sorts of cool stuff and you feel really productive. Don't go overboard with it, but you will be surprised how much it can help you. For this assignment, formatting matters, and I want to show you this really quickly because this assignment is really weird. So let me get in here. Can y'all see that? Yeah. So this is the assignment. First thing I'll tell you is when you download this, please rename it something else so that when you make all your changes and then turn it in, you're not turning in this assignment again. So you have to do these things. You're finding 6 articles. I used to make people do 10. I think the more you do, the more you have to choose from. You do have to have articles that come from the Gateway Library databases. And I strongly, strongly urge you, for reasons that will be clear in a minute, to use opposing viewpoints in context. And then you've got annotations here. You don't have to use all the sources in the essay. That's fine. But this assignment is 6, as it says. Don't just like take the abstract from whatever paper you're using. You need to look at it, but you also need to create your own stuff. Don't simply copy and paste it. Here's what I want to show you. Here's a sample annotated bibliography. Your name, my name, course name, date. Yeah, I don't know what that class is. Full title of annotated bibliography. You should not have a period there. I don't know how that got in there. It should be in alphabetical order. You've basically got the MLA entry, and then you've got your paragraph where you're talking about what's in the source and how you think you can use it. And this is, well, I'll say in a minute. So you do it. I will take it if you open up a little bit of space between, your annotation and the next entry, just so that you can visually see quickly what you've got. I think this is really a research document for you. Here's what I wanted to show you. So we've got Herbert London, and we've got this, and then we have it again. And I mean, it's giving you 2 different, a summary annotation and an evaluative annotation. But you don't put the same thing into your bibliography twice. If this were something else written by Herbert London, then instead of doing their name again, you would actually just do 5 dashes. And so if you have, I know sometimes when you're researching, you find an author who's got a lot of credibility and you want to use them a lot, then this is how you would do that. And then you just alphabetize by the title. So I hope that is helpful. Let me see what else here. All right, so the annotated bibliography, yes, it's a pain, but it helps you see gaps in your research. It can help you start to write, like as you're writing the summaries and the evaluations, and you can start working with the ideas from the sources. And when you do that, you can practice like using signal phrases, and finding ways to summarize quickly bits and pieces that you might need for your argument, so that when you get to writing the paper, you've already worked with the sources some and you can use them. And maybe it's not quite so awkward as it is sometimes for people. It's also really good if you are writing and you realize you remember something that you read and you're not really sure where it came from. Just scanning through that can sometimes narrow it down for you. And so that's helpful too. As I said, be sure when you download that sample file in the next module that you or the next lesson that you rename it so that you don't turn in a blank document. Now I want to go to the Gateway Library really quick. Yeah, I'm doing a lot of sharing today. Where am I here? Library. Okay. So from the Gateway homepage, you go to the library and scroll down. Don't search here. Just keep scrolling. I'm going to ask you to go to Gale Opposing Viewpoints and get at least a couple of things from here. So I'm going to launch out into it and share it. This is, if you just launch into it, then you're on kind of the Gale Opposing Viewpoints homepage. And I strongly suggest you start there. Instead of searching here, try this first. Scroll down, and you can browse the issues. So if you're really interested in law and politics or something, you can click into that and see all of them at once. If you want to see all of the issues that are in there, you see there's 483 of them, then you can do that, and then you'll just see them in alphabetical order. So especially for those of you that I strongly suggested you find a more debatable topic, this would be a thing. I do want to address here, a lot of you are interested in social media, and whether or not social media is helpful or harmful is probably not the most, the best kind of argument to make for this kind of paper. There's really kind of a yes or no answer to it. I think it's usually better to look at problems that you're interested in and research them, and then, you know, look at solutions and try to present an argument for what should we do about this, not just whether or not it's good. That's kind of the example that I meant earlier. So social media, vaccines is one that I'm going to put in the flat earth kind of category. Vaccines are, they work. So, and people who don't know that, then I don't know what to say. But there's not a lot of really scientific evidence that it doesn't. So we can't really talk about it in an academic setting. So hope I haven't offended anyone with that. Anyway, so what else do I have here? Finally, yes. Let me stop sharing this. And, oh wait, no, I wanted to get back here. Sorry. I'm going to share application screen, basic search. Here we go again. I'm going to click into one of these articles and show you something that you're really going to like. I'm not sure if I put it on a video yet. So voting laws. As you can see on any of these pages, you have kind of a summary of the debate itself. You cannot use that summary in your paper. It's basically like, you know, reading on Wikipedia or something. It's better than Wikipedia. But you can get keywords out of this, and you can get kind of a sense of where the different positions are. But then go find different things on the page. So if you scroll down more, you can see that this thing on voting rights and voting laws has a lot of academic journals, featured viewpoints. You do have some, you know, infographics and statistics that you can use for a little bit of logos, things like that. And once you get down here, you can, so if I click into an article here, you can actually send this article to your Google Drive. You can do it from right here where it says send to Google Drive. Just click on it, and then it will go there. So let's see what else. Yeah, okay. And then I'll go over to my Google Drive now and share that with you instead. So here's my Google Docs. The thing that I just sent to my Google Docs is here. Click into it. This is just kind of the header for the document. You've got the full text of the article that you can annotate however you want. The thing that you need for your annotated bibliography is down here at the bottom. This is kind of hard to see because of the page break, but this is the MLA 9th edition. That's kind of this the default for this. Just copy and paste all of this, and Control-C and then Control-Z to paste it in. Or you can copy and paste this into another Google Doc and then just hanging indent it and double space it and put it in alphabetical order. And that's how you need to do your stuff. What else do I need to say here? Yeah, so think about the opportunities for change that are part of like whatever debate that you're interested in, and think about your audience. I'll talk more about that in another time. I think I've gone on way too long here. But anyway, I hope this is helpful. If you'd like to talk to me about another topic, because I said yours might not be great, then just make an appointment with me and I'll be happy to do that. And have a great rest of your day, y'all. Thanks.